Welcome to the Business Empowerment Podcast, the show that keeps you in the know with what you need to know in business and technology and for yourself so you can grow. Welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Rob House, and my co-host, Wilton Rogers, got insight for miles and miles. We'll give you what you need to know. Get ready for the Business Empowerment Podcast.
What is good, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people all around the world? Welcome to the Business Empowerment Podcast, the show that brings you those insights on business, technology, leadership, and those thought leaders leading the way. We are in this wonderful day and age where people can share their knowledge with you across the world just like that. Somebody do this. Just like that. Snap of a finger. A blink of an eye. Whisk of a tail. Give me something else. It's like that. And I've just been so grateful for the people that I've had a chance to meet, and particularly on LinkedIn. Let me just tell you right now, LinkedIn hands down has been the greatest experience of my natural life. I don't know about natural life or unnatural life, any life that I've ever had. This has been the best thing, man. I'm telling you, my partner here, met everybody who matters in my life significantly here. I've met some of the greatest leaders and teachers and influencers. Jim Rome said years ago, success leaves clues. And then I said years later, so follow the trail. Okay. Success leaves clues, so follow the trail. It's like G.I. Joe, knowing's half the battle. What's the other half? Doing it. And so what I want you to do is get in the habit of doing that second part. So tune in, get your notes ready. Hope you got a phone. Sometimes you have an idea, you can speak it. I have so many things I speak into my phone. Let's maximize it. The goal, again, is to use technology to enhance our abilities. That's what technology is for. Technology has been around here forever. The first technology ever known to the world was probably when we put the two rocks together and made fire. And that technology accelerated the human body and the brain, because then we cooked food and we were able to get the proteins and nutrients, and we then learned more and then learn how to do more with technology. But we wouldn't have done anything if we didn't take action with the rock. So get ready to take some action. And when we come back, our guest today is going to share some insight about sales. Dirty word. Filthy. When you think about sales, people just feel like, oh, it's sleazy. Oh, I can't do it. Matter of fact, I'm somebody who's afraid. I'm afraid. But I walk in my fear, but I'm afraid of it. I just learned how to start selling our own stuff because I realized that we weren't selling. We were just telling. It was like a psychological shift. And once I shifted it psychologically and realized I was just telling people things they wanted to know and hear because it helped them, they started asking me more questions. Wow. Anyway, that's just my breakthrough. My guest has some more. Cherilynn has some more, and I'm excited to share. So stick around, get your questions, throw them in the comments, and I'll be back in a flash.
Business burnout can be simply automated. Automation made simple. Simply automate. Simply automate. Automation made simple. Simply automate. Simple.
That's right. Simply Automate brings you this amazing podcast and this amazing guest, Cherilynn. Thank you for being on the show and welcome.
Thank you, Rob. I'm thrilled to be here. It's definitely my pleasure. I love how you open up and you talk about growth, and that's all I ever talk about. It's all about growth has been my tagline for years. And I'm going to start this right out by challenging you and your audience. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I know you said you're afraid of sales.
Ooh.
And one of my mentors, Bill Green's told me years ago, and Bill is the former CEO of Accenture. And what he said to me is, Cherilynn, when you criticize people, you raise their defensiveness, but if you challenge people, you raise their game. So for the next 30 to 45 minutes, I'm going to challenge you and the audience because I'm about raising everybody's game. So that's what we're going to do.
Dang
so.
it. I love it. Well, come on. That's what I'm talking about. I'm about the challenge. I'm about raising the game. Thank you. Speaking about raising the game, so we'll just slide when you're ready, because I saw him come in the green room. I am interested in having the game raised. I believe that, when we set the bar high, we set our expectations high, we can have high standards and they can be high quality. But Cheryl, we don't know how to get there sometimes. So, that's why you are here. And hey, there he is in the corner. What's up, brother?
Hello, Cheryl. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Welton. Hi, it's Cherilynn. And, I chuckled when Rob said he was afraid of sales. I have been selling since Girl Scout cookies were less than $1 a box. So think back. Do you even remember when Girl Scout cookies were less than $1 a box? I've been selling for, okay, that was a long time ago. That's how long I've been in sales, okay? So it's all I've ever known. I didn't know anything about being afraid of sales, but I promise you that everybody listening and every one of you have been in sales your entire life. Every time you apply for a job, you're in sales. If you have kids and you get kids up off to school, you are selling them going to school every day. If you have teenagers, you are selling them on cleaning their room. You have a spouse, you are selling them and staying in your relationship, or selling them to pick up their laundry. Everything we do is about sales. And so what I'm going to talk to you about today is how you can master some of this so you can get really good at this, because as you guys have learned, nothing happens until something is sold.
Amen.
Say that again.
Nothing happens until something is sold.
Amen.
Bottom line.
That's it.
And if you look at companies can outsource HR, they can outsource marketing. People don't outsource sales. And I just want to back up for a little bit and tell you that, yes, I've been in sales since before Girl Scout cookies were less than $1 a box. I ended my career managing multi-$100 million portfolio selling SaaS into healthcare with clients like Merck and United and Anthem. And so I've had big Fortune 500 companies. I've led teams. And for the last couple of years, I've been the Chief Learning Officer for Sistas in Sales, which is an organization committed to helping Black and brown women be too good to be ignored. But I want to talk to you a little bit about what got me here. I have a question for both of you, and we'll start. Here I am. I'm going to start by challenging you. In the last 65 years, there have been 1,800 CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. How many have been Black women?
I would say
1,800. 65 years. How many have been Black women?
I don't know of any. Don't know any.
You don't know any? Rob, you don't know any? One. Ursula Burns was the CEO of Xerox from 2009 to 2016. In 2017, Forbes interviewed her and said, why aren't there more women in the C-suite? And she said exactly what I was talking about. Marketing's not going to get you there. The arts is not going to get you there. Communications is not going to get there. You have to be close to the juice. And she went on to define the juice as money and product. That is nothing but sales. That is the only way you can lead. That is the only way you get into the C-suite. That's how you advance your career. And that's when I started coaching and training and writing about sales, because that's what it's about.
Wow. That makes sense.
It makes total sense.
Well, and the sad part is having only one Black woman to be a CEO is at this stage of the game is unheard of. I mean, we shouldn't be at that point, right? But I agree with you with the sales part. The sales part is the power behind the muscle behind the company. And if you are good at sales, you can get noticed. And I think that's helped me out, because I love sales, right? So that's helped me advance my career because of me being in sales, and that's the only reason. So it's good to hear.
And just so you know, in the last couple months here in 2021, there have been 2 women now who have been hired as CEO of Fortune 500 companies. But from 1955 till January of 2021, there was only one.
Wow.
So So when we talk about sales, and I know you've been in sales for a while, and Rob, we're going to get you over your fear here real quickly. So when I started thinking about the pandemic and as companies started reimagining and reinventing, I stopped and I thought about how I was taught. And I don't know about you, but I was taught you spend about 20% of your time building relationship and 80% of your time selling. Well, I realized that because all of us have been so battered, so bruised, and that this pandemic has changed everything we know about our clients, I started challenging people to say, what if instead of spending 20% of our time with a relationship, if we spent 80% of our time with relationship? And then 20% of our time solutioning. And that's what I talk about these days is how do we connect with our clients? How do we get more empathetic? How do we do more discovery with them so that we can solution with them and that we stop selling?
Yeah. I love that. I just love how you said the 80-20 switch. I think now more than anything, it's so important for people are it's a different time too. People are more, they want to know more, they have to engage more, they have to build that relationship, that trust, they have to, they do their research. Rob and I were just a minute ago, we're working with a company that we signed on the contract, we signed on the deal today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We were going questions and questions and questions back and forth, but we had built that relationship over a period of a long time. We've known one of the gentlemen for years, right?
Uh-huh.
And now it's finally closed, right? So, I think that you're right. It's spending that time. I mean, sometimes depending on the size of the contract, it should be, it doesn't have to be that long, but I think you're absolutely right. That 80-20 switch is so important, but you're right. We've always been taught. I know I come from that generation is like, it's all in the numbers. The more you
Right.
call, the more you're going to make. It's like, and now it's like, no, it's the ones that you call, build those relationships so they can show what you do, build that trust and move on. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Love it.
And honestly, everybody wants to be able to sell their product or service. Everybody wants to be able to share their gifts with the world. They want to, but most people get hung up in this fear of some way, shape, or form. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of whatever you want to put after it. ... How does someone start to get prepared to get over that fear?
Okay, so I've got three quick tips for you. So first of all, I talk to people about, everybody talks about, oh, I hate Zoom calls. And I was like, people don't hate Zoom calls. They hate your Zoom call, okay? If you were engaging, if people enjoyed themselves. When I get on a Zoom call, I start by saying, I would say, hey, Robbie Whitten, how are you today? I said, you know what? I'm a dining enthusiast. I love going into the kitchen, and the best thing I make is reservations. Now, you smile, okay? You chuckled, right? Number two, I said the pandemic has given us a chance to look at how we dine in our eating experience different. Rob Wilton, tell me about a time that you had a dining experience in the last year that just made your heart sing. Did you cook something different? Are you cooking with your kids? And so people start talking about something positive. All right, so what did I do? I engaged you. I made you smile. I made you think about something positive. Now, every time you get on my Zoom call, we're going to start that way. So that's number one. Engage people. Make people laugh. Smile. When you smile, you look 10 years younger. You can look 10 pounds lighter. And they say you have more endorphins when you smile than if you ate 10 chocolate candy bars. So I don't know about you, but I tell people, smile, laugh. The other thing is that just like here, I'm sitting here looking at your home. You are inviting people into your home. Open your heart. Open your body language. If you have a Zoom call, get on there early. Don't make people. It's like somebody ringing your doorbell and standing on the front porch. Get there early. Welcome everybody that comes in. I don't care if it's a team meeting. You be the person. Welcome people. Greet people. Get in the habit of engaging people. So number one, connect with people virtually. Number two. Practice what I call level 3 listening. This is empathetic listening. Now, there's 3 levels of listening, and I'm going to talk to you about the 3 levels. And then
I never heard anyone say that. I swear, I said this about 6 months ago. I know it's going to be said soon because empathy is the word. I was like, I wonder how people are using that. Oh my goodness! And you said it.
Empathetic listening.
Perfect.
Yes. And so, level 1 listening. You guys go into a restaurant. The waiter comes to you and says, "Would you like chicken, fish, or vegetables?" You're not listening to the waiter. You're here to my head. Do I want chicken? I had chicken last week. I probably should eat vegetables. We're not listening. Level one listening is we're listening and talking in our head. Great salespeople don't do that. So I'm not worried about that. Level two listening is what a lot of us were taught, and that's that reflective listening. I know I hear you. You're nodding your head. You may repeat back what they said. You said, empathy was a big word. That's level two. Level three listening is empathetic listening, and that's listening for what's going on between the words. And the best way to do that is something that I call box breathing. And we're going to try it right now because I said I'm going to challenge your audience and your listeners. So what I want you to do is we're going to take a deep breath and we're going to breathe in to the count of 4, hold it 2, 3, 4, breathe out 2, 3, 4, hold it at the bottom 2, 3, 4. Now what that has done, it's lowered your heart rate, lowered your blood pressure, and it quieted your brain. You can now listen and connect with me. You can now hear what I'm not saying. If you just took that one tip, if you start people off with a smile and a laughter on your Zoom call, and you try level 3 listening, are we selling or are we connecting?
That's connection.
That's
connection. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It's a real thing.
Right.
Real thing. I like that.
So that's the second one. The third one, okay. So now you have made people smile and laugh. You have connected with them with level 3 listening. And the third thing is discovery calls. And I call this the 4 Fs. And the reason is again, every single person that you're talking to has been impacted by this pandemic. And the 4 Fs that I talk about are first, finest, failure, future. Everybody has those. The first question I ask is, what was it like the first day you came back from the pandemic? What was it like the first time, you had to make a client call during the pandemic? Everybody has a first. So when you're talking to your clients, ask them about what was that first experience like. It doesn't matter whether it was good, bad, or ugly. Ask them. Everybody has a first experience around that pandemic. The second question is finest. What did you get right? What was the finest thing that's happened since the pandemic around whatever you're selling? The third item you want to ask them is, what's their failure? What are they not getting right? And the final question you want to ask clients is future. What does your future look like? What do you want your relationship with your clients to look like, your website to look like, whatever it is that you are talking about? If you ask clients those 4 questions, can we now solution? If I know what it was like the first time you came back from the pandemic, if I know what it was like, what you're doing well, the finest thing, if I know what your failure is and what you're not doing well, and if I know what your vision is for the future, can you and I have a conversation?
Yeah, a real good conversation, and I'm going to really feel as if you care about what I'm saying.
Right.
Okay. Have I sold you anything?
Not yet.
Okay. Not yet. I'm done.
Right.
Have I said anything that was scary?
Nope.
Okay.
Everything was welcoming and heartfelt.
Okay. So now we start solutioning. If you said to me, if I was going to coach you, and if you said to me, wow, my biggest failure is I can't get clients on the call, and I would say, well, let's talk about how I help people get clients on the phone. Okay? If you said my biggest, I was looking for a coach when the pandemic first hit. I was teaching live classes, and I realized I'm gonna have to do a virtual class. I was scared to death to do my first virtual class. Hadn't done one in years. Everything had been live. And a coach called me and he was telling me, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this. Not once did he ask me, what is my biggest failure? What is my biggest fear? What's getting in the way? Because if he had said, oh, well, Cherilynn, I can help you overcome that, or I can show you how to help people overcome that, I would have wrote a check. He didn't sell me because he was talking about all his features and benefits. He didn't connect with me. So, Rob, are you afraid to ask those 4 questions?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
That's what selling is today. We just spent 80% of our time understanding your client, understanding what has changed since the pandemic, because our clients have changed, and we as business people and salespeople, we have to change. We can't do things the way we used to.
Yeah.
So I know I've thrown a lot at you. What did you guys discover?
I think
Go ahead. Go ahead, Will.
I think it's so important that people, especially in sales, because I still get it all the time, right? No one's, I'm sure you get it on LinkedIn and everybody else on emails. They haven't built that relationship. How can you build that for me, right? You don't know who I am. You say, "Oh, we can help you." How do you know you can help me? You haven't
Right.
even asked what I want, right?
Right.
And for me, I'm already feeling that way. If you would have told me this when I got in sales 20, 30 years ago, I would have been hammering away. It's the numbers game. It's the numbers game. But now it's like I actually feel it. I don't do business with people I don't know. I don't.
Right.
I just don't, right? And I have to know them, and they have to hit me, like you're saying, all those things. And I realize that the ones that have sold me have done that. That subconsciously they've done that, you know. And I felt it, and it made me feel like, okay, they're a trusted source. They're my friend,
Right.
type of feel. I feel they make me feel comfortable. They trust them. So, you know, it's really that is the new way to sell for sure. And I
Sure is.
think I think so many people are missing that boat right now, and it's I see it I get hit with it every single day, whether it's on LinkedIn or emails or calls or whatever. It's like, no, don't do that, and I don't even respond to them anymore, because they haven't reached out. And now, if any of those reached out to me, in a different manner and actually started to say, you know what, I did my research on you. I see what you're doing. I love to see what you're doing. I see what you did for this client. Da, da, da. I'd like to know more about what you do, and maybe we can sit down and talk.
Right.
Okay,
Maybe we can solution. And that's all it is. It's not selling. If I have a problem and you can help me solution, why would I not listen?
right.
And that's all it is. And so Rob, can you see there why maybe this is not so scary anymore?
Yeah, and just to tell you, the fear was heavy more so about 2020. 2021 turned a new corner, and it's because of essentially what you're just saying. I came to a revelation of a percentage of that, and
Okay.
we started telling our story. Essentially, we have a technology that everybody needs, but nobody knows what the heck it is. And
Right.
so when you talk to people, you have 75 heads. So instead of trying to sell them something they have no idea what it is, we begin to just start teaching, and we begin to start just finding where their problems were. As you were saying, start asking questions, and through the questions, which turned into a questionnaire, which allowed us then to just be in a really relaxed state, and that
Hmm.
takes all the angst away, or at least most of it. But so we got some guests out here, a couple of folks dropping some comments. Rhonda, thank you for being on LinkedIn watching the show. She said, best things, connections with new folks and stranger relationships with my team. Cons, sometimes working too much and not taking me time, not taking time because I was worried about my team and loved ones. Now living more intentionally, balanced with my work life and self-care time. That is great. That is fantastic. And if you have a question for Cherilynn, ask the question, please. She has some insight. Also has a fabulous book we're going to talk about in a second. Um, and you also, I didn't even know this. You have something else going on, and I want you to tell us about it. And I'm just going to play it first, and then you can tell us about it afterwards. Okay, because this is really interesting.
Have an Sistas in Sales virtual conference. You will have an enriching and a rewarding experience. This community was created for women of color with the intent to provide sisterhood, skill building, community, and impact. This is your day. Every single person that is connected to this organization, the speakers, the sponsors, the companies, and the team, all have one goal in mind, and that is for you to win. This day is providing you with all the resources that you need to be a success in your role in sales. Everything is here for you. Mentors, companies, recruiters, and amazing content. So I want you to get ready for an incredible experience.
Love that. Love
That
that.
is awesome.
September
Yes.
15th to the 17th.
It is. So last year, again,
Oh,
Sisters
wait, I'm sorry. Before
Go
you
ahead.
go, before you say that, so the link to that is going to be in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, on Facebook and LinkedIn. And also, that sounded like a wonderful voice of somebody I might know. Is that Monique?
That is Monique.
I knew
That is
that was
Monique.
Monique. I was like, I know that voice.
Yes.
Been on her shows. You've been on ours a couple times. Wonderful human being. Wow. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Monique was our MC for our Sisters in Sales event. And Sisters in Sales, again, I thank you for putting the link there. But if you just go to sistersinsales.com, you can find out information about Sisters in Sales and register for our summit. Last year, we had a little over, I think, about 1,800 women who showed up for 2 days for this event. And we have all kinds of workshops and fireside chats. I know last year we had everybody from the top ranking sales expert at SAP, who is a very elegant woman who started as an admin at IBM. Today, she manages over a $600 million book of business for SAP. We had the top sales executive from Google, Bonita Stewart, and I also did a fireside chat with a new SDR from Twitter who showed up with her hat on backwards and her name tag says badass. So everything that you were looking for, you're going to find at the Sisters in Sales conference. It's a virtual event. We're hoping to do it live in 2022. We used to do it live, of course, like the pandemic. We've pivoted, but it's an exciting event. Check us out. It's a great organization for Black and brown women. And so what we do with Sisters in Sales is 3 things. And so I want to just kind of speak to the audience because I think there's something for everybody there. So first of all, if you are a Black or brown woman, this creates a community because most of us know what it's like to be the only one in the room. And so we don't want you to be that unicorn anymore. We want you to have a community. So there is a community. We have a Slack channel that's very busy. Before the pandemic, we had events across the country. And now we do actually events virtually. Number 2, I, as the Chief Learning Officer, my commitment is to help women become too good to be ignored. So whether you're trying to advance your skills as a sales professional, advance your career into sales leadership, or you want to move into the C-suite, the coaching, the training, the master classes that I do are designed to help you be too good to be ignored. And the third thing is, and I'm going to challenge anybody here who's not a Black or brown woman, is that to get more Black and brown women on your team. And so we help companies attract, hire, and retain Black and brown women. And so if you want to learn more about that, go to Sisters in Sales, click on partnerships, and just complete download our partnership guide where we talk about this. There's 3 ways that we do it. And we write blogs about women of color in sales so people can see what other women look like and they can say, that looks like me. I have a blog that just came out on LinkedIn today about with Nikki. Nikki started in car sales. Today, she's a top tech sales manager. I have written about people who's, there was a young man who majored in, he was a football player, majored in sports science, and today he's a tech sales leader. So that's to help attract and raise awareness. We sponsor a lot of panels, and then finally, I do coaching and training to help bond and connect women to your organization. So that's what we do.
That's amazing.
That is fabulous.
That is like, I got a question. My sister, she's amazing when it comes down to her craft. So she works a 9 to 5. She's getting burnt out. She's started a side hustle, right? And she's getting a lot of work because of people she knows. But outside of that, that's pretty much it, right? And so you got to start selling it. I mean, you got to use. And with me, it's like, I think she hears it from me, but it's like it's coming from her brother, right?
Right.
Being around other successful Black women would change her mind. Would this, because she's getting started in a business, and it's more of a side hustle that she wants to make her main revenue here in the near future?
Right.
This will be a perfect opportunity for her to be involved with this, correct?
Absolutely. Black women are starting more businesses than any other group of women, any other group at all, not just women. Black women start more businesses. The flip side of that is we have the lowest average income. The average income for most people start a business is around 80, 90,000 a year. For Black women, it's 20,000. So yes, we
Really?
start more, yes, so we start more businesses, but we have to learn how to sell. We have to learn how to market. And this organization will help with that. This organization is for all Black and brown women who want to learn about sales, who want to master their craft. And so,
Mm,
absolutely, tell her to join Sisters in Sales. We have a very active community on the
mm,
Slack channel. Tell her to sign up for the conference. We've got amazing sponsors. We do have a few sponsor slots left. So if you're sitting there as a company and you're saying, you know what, I want to do something. I want more Black and brown women organization. Join Sisters in Sales, become a sponsor or a partner for our upcoming summit. If you're interested in how to attract, retain, or hire more Black and brown women, I also challenge you to do that. And I
mm.
have one other challenge. A lot of times people will say, Cherilynn, how do we find you? How do we connect with you? I'm on LinkedIn, just like everybody else. But I challenge people who are your listeners that to connect with somebody on LinkedIn who doesn't look like you.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good. That's a good one.
Just real simple. Just
Hmm.
go out and not just connect like, hi, do you want to connect? I mean, actually connect with somebody. Tell them you'd like to meet with them. Spend 15 minutes, hear their story. One of the best ways to increase diversity is for us to build our networks so that
That's
we
good.
can do that.
That's good. The best
So
way to
that's
build
my challenge.
diversity is to be diverse, huh?
Yes, it is. Because we hire people that look like us. And
Yeah.
if everybody in your network looks just like you, how are you going to build diversity? So
Right.
Right.
it doesn't matter whether you're a male,
I
whether
love
you're a
that.
woman, whether you're black, brown, yellow, orange. I don't care. Connect with somebody who
I like the
doesn't
fact you said
look
that.
like you.
I
That's
like the
it.
fact you said that. That's so good. Well, we're gonna take a quick break and come back and hear about your book. Yeah, because I want to know what's in the cards. I do want to know what's in the cards. Yeah, we're
All
gonna hear
right.
about that. All right, and then we'll get your final thoughts, and we'll see if anybody has any questions. Be right back.
Business burnout can be so overwhelming. So many things to do and not enough time to do them. Deadlines to meet with time ticking away quickly. Multiple repetitive tasks that must be completed every single day. What if you could cut that list in half? What if you could automate 50, 60, 70% of what you do every day? You would have less stress. You could get more done in less time. And your company would make more money. Less stress and more money? See how RPA can change your day.
Yes, you really should see how RPA can change your day. Literally, that person you saw, two different people, two different life experiences, one good, one not so good. And Cherilyn, we have seen so many people on those sides of the spectrum and literally just shift from being so stressed out and overwhelmed to being free. And what happened was we were able to free them up from doing repetitive, mundane things. And now they can be more value driven and talk to customers and network and build their skills. And actually, some of them stay at home. Some people could just stay home, you know?
A lot of them have moved into sales.
Yep.
Because it's been huge because a lot of them have years of experience working for that company with their head down, right? Now their heads up and they're speaking, and they have the experience and the knowledge and the history with that company that they can share it with people, right? The culture of that company.
Hmm.
It's made a huge difference. So we see a lot of people shifting into that into the more of the branding and sales roles once they automate these processes. Before we get to your book, I got a question because you said something at the beginning. You said a lot of people are bringing their sales team in and they're not really using sources outsourcing sales, right? Tell me a little bit more about outsourcing sales. The reason why I asked that is because there's a lot of businesses that say, you know what, we got to build a sales team, right?
Uh-huh.
And they really don't have the experience on how to build that sales team quite yet. Do you recommend businesses to look for outsourcing sales? And if so, how can they get started looking into that role?
So I know there are outsourcing sales companies, and I'll be honest with you, Wilton, I have a different way that I look at it. I think that the best salesperson is the CEO until you get about $1 million in revenue. You know your product, you know the why, you know why you did this. People buy for why. What I love about what your ad just said was you talk about the why. People want more time. Okay. You didn't talk about the how, you didn't talk about the what, you talked about the why. And the person who understands the why the most is the CEO. And so a rule of thumb for startups is about 10%. So if you're making $1 million, you can pay out about $100,000 in sales commission, and any salesperson worth their weight in gold is making about $100,000. So I encourage you that until you can generate about $1 million in revenue, you should be selling. Everybody on your team should be selling. Every single person in your company should be selling. When you get to that $1 million, then step back and change your mindset and implement a sales function. And I mean a team revenue function. And team revenue is sales and marketing. You want sales and marketing working together. You want to reward sales and marketing working together, because marketing is going to fill the top of the funnel and sales is going to empty the bottom of the funnel.
Right.
That's what I look at.
That's I kid you not. You must have been a fly on the wall 2 days ago. And the reason why I say that is because I was talking to a gentleman. Well, he's more of an advisor. He's built and sold businesses in the hundreds of millions of dollars, right? He said the exact same thing. He says, because we're looking at internally for us, and I'm just talking about us, and we're taking that route. He goes, listen, when you get over $1 million, then you can start bringing some good people in. If you want to bring somebody in lower than that, you're going to get low expectations, and it's not going to show. You got to be the sales force, right? And it's amazing that you said that, because I think a lot of people miss that boat right away when they become the CEO. They have money, they can bring a salesperson in. No, you build it, you create it. You already have a clear understanding of how it's already done. You already built it to 7 figures. Now bring somebody in that's capable of doing it and has experience to do it, and now you can pass the baton pretty easy.
Right, because you have written out your value statements. You know the value, you know the market. Salespeople are salespeople. Great salespeople don't come in to help carry boxes. They don't come in to help answer the phone. When you hire a salesperson, you want to say, here's our value proposition, here's our product, here's our market, now go sell. That's what a salesperson do. Where a lot of companies fail is they hire that salesperson when they're in that growth phase, and they're like, yeah, in addition to selling, can you answer the phone? In addition to selling, can you carry boxes? In addition to selling, can you help us figure out our marketing, or can you help us figure out what our value proposition is? A great salesperson will do one thing, that is sell. Hire great salespeople, let them sell, and work as a CEO and figure all that out in advance.
That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. And you make a lot of sense. And you wrote about it.
So you can learn more about my book at postpandemicselling.com, or it's also on Amazon. The book actually went to the top 100 business books for women. And so it's done very well. And I'm going to talk to you about the why again. So I read this article put out by Harvard Business Review in May of 2020. And what it said is basically said that in 2008, coming out of the financial crisis, women outsold men. And it predicted that women will be the best sellers coming out of the pandemic, because women do about 5 things better than men. And those 5 things are C for collaboration, A for analytical, R for relationships, D for development, and S for strategy. And so when I started talking about these things, I wrote a LinkedIn article about what's in the cards, because people started teasing me saying, well, do you think men should sell like women? And it hit me, and I was like, yeah, maybe. Okay. Women are really good at being collaborative. And so, what I've been talking about is
Mm.
how to collaborate, how to solution with your clients, how to work with your clients. So that's what the C is for. A is for being more analytical. And one of the things I talk about when I'm saying being more analytical is change your perspective. If everything has changed, we have to change our perspective. And I just want to tell a quick story here. You know, I grew up in a home where my mom had a can of baking grease at the back of the stove, and she put a scoop of baking grease and a scoop of sugar in everything, every vegetable she made. Okay. Fast forward years later, I'm leading a team, and a woman, her mother comes in and she makes lunch for the team. And she made this beautiful Indian lunch, and she brought in this metal can that looked almost like my mom's metal can. But when you opened it up, it was a masala daba, and it had about 7 different bright colored spices in it. And so it hit me that the perspective is totally different. And so that's what we have to look at when we look at analysis, is we have to look at our perspective, our logics, and our assumptions totally different.
Mm.
We've talked about R, which is relationships. D is for development. I encourage you to find your superpower, figure out what you're good at, and then leverage that in sales. One of the biggest things that I encourage people to do is read a 10K. The 10K is a SEC document, and the 10Q, where companies talk about how the pandemic is impacting them. Read analyst reports so you know how the pandemic is impacting industries. Immerse yourself in your client's world. Be open to learn. And that's what the D stands for, development. And strategy is vision. Understand your client's vision. Remember that question I asked you about future? I asked that because I want to know what your vision is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what What's in the Cards is about. The book has it's broken down very simply, about 50 quick chapters. Each of them is broken down in one of those 5 areas to help you be more collaborative, more analytical, more relationships, more development, and more strategic. That's what What's in the Cards is about.
So who was the book for? Who would you say the book is for?
You know, so I'll be honest, my audience are Black and brown women. And so I wrote to my audience. When people started reading it, if you read the reviews about it, they say everybody should read this, because everybody is coming out of the pandemic. Everybody has been impacted by the pandemic. And they said everybody should read it. I've also got a bonus chapter in there about how to have safe conversations. Given everything that's going on with the social injustice, there were tons of sales leaders who are saying, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know where to start. So I also added a chapter there about how to have safe conversations. And so who is it for? It's for anybody who has to sell. It's for anybody who needs to build relationships. And it's for anybody who understands they have to do something different because of this pandemic. So if you can think of anybody who hasn't been impacted by the pandemic, they probably don't need to read this book. So
That's good. That's good.
I love it.
That is wonderful.
thank you.
Cherilyn, this is I tell you what, this has been a really good conversation. You know, I think that, you know, the more you put these different things into practice, like what you're saying, actually put them into practice, it may not become perfect, but at least become permanent, you know. And
Yes.
so,
Yes. So that's going to take me to my challenge. So I started off saying I was going to challenge your audience. Now I have thrown out tons of tips and ideas. I want everybody who's listening to take out a piece of paper and write down one thing that I said that you're going to do differently tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, one thing that I said that you're going to do differently. Write down how you're going to implement it, when you're going to implement it, and how will you know that you've implemented it. And I don't care if that's connect with somebody on LinkedIn, become an empathetic listener, ask discovery questions, do some research, look up a client's 10K, you pick it. But I challenge each and every one listening to pick one thing that you're going to do differently because of this conversation.
I love it. I already know what I'm going to do different.
yeah.
What are you going to do differently?
Yeah.
I love what the example of breathing.
Oh, stop it. I was going to say box breathing. I was going to say box breathing. Dang it. We Virgos.
Because we're Virgos. And because you can always get better at being empathetic, right? You can always get better at really reading between the lines. And I think sometimes, you know, we're so excited. I get so excited because I already felt that empathy, and I already feel like, okay, you know what, we could help them on that big smile. I know how to respond to this, but I don't need that. They don't need that right now, right? I need to slow down, do that breathing so I can read between the lines. And when the minute you said that, I was already thinking, okay, that's me. I need to work on that because I
Yeah.
could
So
always
you
get,
can connect with them
yeah,
because you were doing level two listening. You were thinking about, okay, I know, I already got my solution. Or I know I can fix this. And
yeah,
you'll miss a whole lot of things that's not being said. So good
yeah,
for you. Okay,
yeah.
Rob, what's one thing that you learned to help make this sales a little easier for you?
Well, I'm loving this 21st century phrase of empathetic listening. I'm loving this. I'm so down with it. And it's listening between the words, and like
Mhm.
listening to understand. That's my my definition of it too. Is like listening with the intent to understand. And it's really helpful. Okay, it's not just a thing like it's being said. What I've noticed is that, and the reason I said I'm going to do it because I haven't been doing it as consistently. Because sometimes you get caught up in the moment and
Right.
moving, and you forget some of the things. So I'm going to be more intentional about being an empathetic listener, so that I can be listening to understand. Because the moment you have understanding, and that's when the connection happens. That's when the breakthroughs happen. It's when we have the disconnection and the confusion and the misinterpretations. That's when we have the issues.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And then you're not selling, you're just connecting. And once we're connecting, then we're solutioning.
yeah,
Who doesn't want a solution?
right,
There's no selling.
right. That's good. That's good. Cherilynn, we ask all our guests this question. My favorite question in the whole world. Okay, favorite
Okay.
question in the whole world. If God or the universe or whoever, a genie, whatever feels comfortable to you, comes to you and says, "You have one wish. Just one. You
Okay.
can't wish for more wishes, but it can be anything you desire." What would you say that would be?
So my wish would be that my concepts would be available virtually to every Black and Brown woman in the world so
Hmm.
that they can start creating better lives for their families. They can start building generational wealth. We as Black women have to learn how to sell, and we have to learn how to sell well. So that's actually my mission and my vision right now is how do I create a digital Cherilynn? How do I scale what I do so
Hmm.
that every Black and Brown woman in the world can become masterful salesperson?
That
I love
is
that. And it's so
wonderful.
needed. You're
Yes.
absolutely right. And it's, you know,
Mm.
growing up, I mean, hearing from your family when you're raised, you have, uh, Black women in your family and seeing the struggles they have to go through, even for us as Black men, you know, but education, being able to change the narrative of somebody can
Right.
really, and that's what I've been raised. Like you be educated, you carry yourself well, they'll look at you different. But even with that, with my sisters, I see the disadvantage they have even over me, right? So being able to have a wish like that and be able to have people follow, be able to put those steps into play is a huge difference.
Absolutely.
In fact, I'm already thinking. I already know what after we get off this. I know where I'm going to Amazon and send to my getting my sister's address. I already forgot it. Sending her the book because I think she'll definitely appreciate this.
The book,
I appreciate that.
or the
Go ahead,
book.
Russ.
Yeah, what's in the cards? That's amazing. Sisters in Sales, the virtual summit, which the link is in the comment. Uh, that is also amazing. These are educational resources for you to level up, get your
That's it.
mindset right, so that you can start telling, which turns into selling. Hello, tell
Change,
somebody.
change the narrative so our kids and our
Yes,
grandkids don't have to see that there's only been
thank you.
two Black women as CEOs
Right.
and the sweet
And that's
success.
how we change it. We change it by teaching them how to sell.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Yep.
So, yeah. Good
Wow.
question,
Thank you.
Rob. Thank you.
Thank
Well,
Thank
you.
you both. It's been my pleasure. It's been a delight
congratulations.
chatting with you. Thank
Absolutely
you.
pleasure meeting you. Thank you for connecting me on LinkedIn. I'm definitely be following your work, and it's been amazing. This has truly been God sent, and I think you're doing an amazing job. And we need more women like you to be able
Yes.
to push the women of color into the spotlight. So thank you.
And
Absolutely.
and one more time, where people can find. I mean, we have all the information in the comments, but just go ahead and recap.
Okay, so again, you connect with me on LinkedIn, Cherilynn Castleman. You can connect with me through Sisters in Sales, Sistas businessinSales.com. You can connect with me at CherilynCastleman.com, masterforselling.com, or you can find my book on Amazon or postpandemicselling.com. Make it very simple. Again, I challenge everybody, connect with somebody you don't know, and just become an empathetic listener as we all try to reinvent, recover, and return from this pandemic.
Cherilynn Castleman, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob. Pleasure.
That is just wonderful, man. I'm telling you, we have such an opportunity, with this platform, and we meet such amazing people.
Right. And the thing about it is, like, when you actually get to talk to them, I mean, even I stalked her for today, and I looked at her profile and everything. But even talking to her, although she has the niche and what she's focusing, which is we need more women like that to focus on our sisters. But I related to her, and I know every other salesperson can relate to what she was talking about. Right? So even though that's there, she's actually reaching the masses, like us, and showing you how to overcome a fear just by switching the 80-20, in what you're doing. So, just amazing human being, man. I love it. It's great to have a platform like this where we can expose those people and being able to put their work out there, because it's really needed. It's really needed.
It really is. Yeah. It really is. And I love her wish. Man. And her wish is going to help to build legacy, in the families of our Black and brown women families, essentially. I mean, we're talking about families. So we know that the percentages are not always in our favor. Right. And so whenever you have initiatives that are going to support and bring light and resources, man, we come together on that, because we know we're better when we're all better. When everybody's moving forward, everybody's better. When everybody's good, everybody's good. That's it. That's how it is.
When you have a movement like that, for example, my parents said, my dad said, I never thought in my lifetime I would see a Black man as a president. Right?
See a what?
Where a Black man as president.
Oh yeah.
Right? When Obama became president, it was like, it changed everything. It really did for the Black community, right? It's almost like we can do anything. Same thing here when it comes to Black women in power. It should be a point when I get to my father's age, we can look back and say, there's thousands of Black CEOs running our country, right? To get to that point to where this is how it starts. It all starts with educating our families, educating our kids, allowing them to see what's possible.
Yep.
And changing that narrative, man. Make sure that people understand that
change the narrative, dude.
That's it.
Hit the nail on the head. So reach out to Cherilynn. Her links are down there in the comments, and we have our links there down as well. Because
I like your website, by the way, Sistas.
Yeah, that's fly. I love that. I love that.
It's very easy. I'm actually going to tell my sister to sign up for this. I'm going to send her the book. Actually,
that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Where she's at. Perfect where she's at, man. And the other links are also in the comments. The link to, our website, because when you saw that gentleman in distress, and then you saw the one who wasn't in distress, and this happens from being educated and getting more understanding. So you want to get some education, some understanding about this technology, and really bring some ease and well-being to your organization. Reach out to us. The link is in the comment. SimplyAutomateInc.com. What else you got, brother? Anything else?
Man, that's it, man. I was trying to get up my call earlier because I said Cherylynn's going to be on there. I did my research on that. She was in sales. I wanted to get on there right away to cut them off. Yeah. Okay, thank you. But no, man. I think we usually talk about what we do, but I think this one was such a great conversation, a great podcast that all I can say is that we can leave it on that note, saying there's a great opportunity out there for so many people of color, brown and Black alike, and I think we really need to enforce that a little bit more. And I think we can end on that note. But man, I'm
happy. So happy, man. I concur. Until next time.
Welcome to the Business Empowerment Podcast, the show that keeps you in the know with what you need to know in business and technology and for yourself so you can grow. Welcome to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Rob House, and my co-host, Wilton Rogers, got insight for miles. Miles and miles. We'll give you what you need to know. Get ready for
The Business Empowerment Podcast.